guys, it's Shae from Shae's Country Kitchen. Thanks so much for stopping by. If this is your first time, make sure you hit the subscribe button before you leave. And if you've been here before, thanks so much for returning. Well, Thanksgiving is right around the corner, and I wanted to show you all how to make my lemon pound cake. Now, this cake is really easy to make, but I don't advise you to do this if you're a beginner baker and you don't have a stand mixer. Now, if you're a seasoned baker, then you can definitely pull this off with just a hand mixer. But for anyone that's beginning, I highly recommend that you do this only if you have a stand mixer. However, I'm going to show you guys how to do everything step by step. So hopefully, if you decide to make this, there will be no errors and your cake will be absolutely delicious and come out perfect. All right, guys, so what I'm going to show you first is how to actually measure out your flour and put it in a sieve and sift it so that you get all the lumps out of the flour, and also how to grease the bundt pan so that the cake doesn't stick. So there's a couple of techniques with, as far as greasing the bundt pan and keeping it from sticking. You have your option of doing it the old school way, which is the way that I'm going to show you, because I always have shortening and flour on hand, so that's how I'm going to show you how to do it. But if you have like Pam or Baker's Joy, which has the oil and the flour inside the canister, you could definitely use that for the inside of the bundt pan so that you don't have your cake at the top of your pan stuck when it's time to flip it out. So definitely, if you don't get anything else from this video, grease the bundt pan, because after you make this, you want to be able to flip it out easily and enjoy. Flour that we're going to be using, you can use any cake flour. However, I do prefer Swan's Down cake flour. So we're going to go ahead and just measure out the flour. So I have a cup, and for exact measurements, you can definitely head on over to shayscountrykitchen.com and you'll have all the details for the exact measurements. But when you're measuring out a cup of flour, it is important that you adjust for air bubbles. So when you dip the cup or the measuring cup into the flour, there are bubbles there. So what I like to do is I just dip it and then I tap it, and that will allow the flour to set up into any of those air bubbles that are inside the actual measuring cup. And then you just level it off, and you are going to just dump that into a sieve that you see here. I just have a sieve over my bowl here. So I'm going to go ahead and just finish measuring the flour out for this. And now you want to sift the flour, and for those of you that are new to baking, sifting, just make sure that you get all of the lumps out of the flour so that your batter will be smooth. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and finish doing this. Now, I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but this just brings a comfort over me. It takes me right back to my grandmother's kitchen, with my mom in the kitchen as well. My mom's not a baker. I get this from my grandmother, but my grandmother was a baker for all of her adult life. She worked in grocery store bakeries, decorating cakes for weddings and birthdays. So I think this is where I got that from, but this just really makes me happy. And I'm happy to be able to share this with you all. So here I have my actual flour that is sifted out. And now I'm going to show you how you grease your bundt pan and sift it with the flour so that you get a nice pretty cake that slides right out of the pan when you're done. Trust me, if you skip this step, you will be so heartbroken on Thanksgiving if this is what you're baking for Thanksgiving. So please don't forget to grease the bundt pan. I'm just going to lightly sprinkle a little bit of the flour inside. Now guys, I did not just go ham with that flour. I only did put a little bit in there. I'll let you see before I start moving around. There's not a lot of flour in there. So what you want to do now is you just kind of have to move it around. See, I'm just moving and the area that tends to be the most problematic is this area around here. You do want the flour to be around this middle section because you don't want it to get stuck there. So what I do then is I just kind of try to tap it out of the pan so that it gets on the middle section. Now we're gonna go ahead and put everything together. So we're gonna go ahead and add our butter to our mixing bowl here. This is 3 cups. Not 3 cups, this is 3 sticks of salted butter. I do prefer salted butter over the unsalted. I just feel like it bakes better. So we're gonna go ahead and mix this together and let it get creamed a little bit before we add our sugar to the mixture. So my butter has creamed for about a minute. So with the mixer on, I'm going to continue to cream this and slowly add my sugar so that you can cream the sugar in with the actual butter. Now you want to just incorporate your eggs into your incorporate your eggs into your sugar and your butter mixture here. So I like to add just 2 at a time. 2 at a time. Let it beat for maybe like 30 seconds. Color of the batter will go from yellow to a really, really light pale yellow. And that's what you're going to be looking for before you start to incorporate your milk and your flour. So now we're going to stop that and we're going to go ahead and get ready to add our milk and our actual flour. Now in here is my cream, my vanilla, and my fresh lemon juice. Now guys, when you add this lemon juice to this cream, it is going to curdle. So don't think that you've messed up. It kind of turns into like buttermilk consistency. So that is the way it is supposed to look. We're gonna start with our flour first, alternate with our milk, half of the milk mixture, and then another third of the flour, the other half of the milk, and then the last third of the flour goes in last. Remember, flour always goes in last. So everything is incorporated. So now we're just gonna take it off, let that down, remove to dust off any excess flour, and also clean off the spatula. What the batter looks like when it's done. It's really, really thick, and this is why you need the KitchenAid to blend this for you if you're, a beginner, because this can really tear up a motor if you're using a hand mixer. So we're gonna just go ahead and put the mixture into our bundt pan, and I just put it all along the side, and I turn the pan. Be careful because you don't want to put the batter in that center hole. I have done it before on accident, and I still do it. So you just have to be careful. And as you can see here, be careful that it all gets into the pan as well. Okay, so all of the batter is in the bowls. Just turn it and evenly spread it all around. Before I put this in the oven, I'll tap it on the floor just to make sure everything settles. And then that'll help release any air bubbles as well. So we're gonna go ahead and put this into a cold oven. When I mean cold oven, I mean we do not preheat the oven. We just sit it in and turn it to 300 degrees. This is likely going to bake at least for an hour and a half. So guys, be patient. The next time you see us, we'll have a beautiful cake. All right, guys, so the cake is finished baking. As you can see, it's nice and golden brown. So it's going to, actually when I pulled it out, it was a little higher than this. So it's starting to settle down into the pan. I'm gonna allow this to sit in the pan for maybe about 15 minutes. So I have just, this actually is a cake saver bottom, and I'm just going to lay it over the top of the cake. Press down just a little bit. And again, this is still really hot, but I'm used to doing this, so it doesn't hurt me. But you, please be careful. So there you go, just flip it. Give the bundt pan a little tap and lift up. And there you go. So the cake is still warm. It still has to cool, completely cool before you put any glaze on it. But this is the lemon pound cake, you guys. I really hope that you enjoy it. All right, guys, that is the lemon pound cake. I hope you guys are able to try that out for either Thanksgiving or for Christmas. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, this is Shae at Shae's Country Kitchen. Make sure you leave any comments below. And then also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you later. Bye-bye.